Blah, blah, blah.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, welcome to Legends by Night, the only show that, well, you know what, there's a lot of shows like us, screw it. We just talk about fun stuff about the paranormal and cryptids and whatnot because we can.
Hey buddy.
That's
what I love.
It looks like the vampires about ready to bite Ron over there.
Here's my cryptid right here. This is my cryptid.
Nice.
I have a
Nope.
Hinata rolling around on my lap purring, so I can't pick her up right now because she's like...
My furry
wrong.
cryptid is asleep on the couch downstairs. So
So we will be
Sure.
talking about vampires here in a little while. We're just going to bullshit for a little bit, and we got a fun video to show you guys, an announcement to make before we get to the actual vampires. But this was the first time we actually needed to just decide, like with cryptids, we're probably going to have a million cryptid episodes. But with vampires, like you get one, and if there's enough content, you stretch it into another one, and then you walk away, you're done with vampires. And this was a situation where we needed a second immediate episode to finish that conversation.
Because I won't shut up. I got so much to say, and they don't even know it. Like last week, I was like, vampire
Good.
watermelons and pumpkins. They didn't know anything
Good.
about it, guys. They didn't know. You at home, you're like, oh yeah, man, I got a whole patch of vampire gourds out back and melons. These guys didn't know. They didn't know they
Yeah.
go pearl.
We've all been going in some really crazy directions with everything, with Owlite, with
Well.
all the shows, the constant shows, new shows that we're going to talk about in a minute. One thing I want to, information-wise, I don't think all you guys know this yet, and I just found out for sure today, we're going to have Owlite trading cards, guys. Like, we're going to actually all have a set of trading cards. We're all going to each get a set of our trading cards, and then if we're lucky, we might get some extras to do some giveaways with. So we're talking those, like our official Owlite business cards are currently, in the discussion phases. We're gonna have some banners. Like we're finally sitting down with Lucky over at Warp Speed Printing. By the way, we'll have an ad for him to start playing in the near future. He's definitely hooking us up and helping us out with that. So if you guys need any printing things done with amazing cool shit, and even one of the things I'm considering right now is rolling papers with our logo on it on the pack. He's already looking up prices for me. Like I'm serious about this. This is for smokers everywhere, and I figure we make a version of the owl that's got a joint in its mouth because that would be amazing.
Yes. Owlite lidocaine patches is what I want. I was joking with
My Rolodex. I may know a guy.
I was
Girl,
talking
instead
to people at
Instead
the
of going up to
shuffleboard.
someone going, "Hey man, you got a light," you go, "Hey man, you got an owl light."
Well, the thing is, in my state, once because it's already legal, I can actually make the THC versions of them at home right now, and I know how. So I can make those, but I not like it.
Yeah, see, when we were at the shuffleboard tournament, if you guys tuned in last night, my brother-in-law and his partner Dusty won the shuffleboard tournament, 3-day tournament.
All right.
Sitting on very painful stools because I love Arnold's Tavern, but damn it, are your stools and chairs and everything just very uncomfortable, but you have the best Bloody Marys ever. But we got done and we're all just like, oh God, walking out into the like smoking section, a little big red outside, and it hurts. It hurts so bad just sitting there for days. It's easier to like walk an amusement park than it is to sit and watch a shuffleboard tournament. And so it's like, we're gonna have to. Their brand is Kenny Laggins.
That cracks me
You
up so much.
lag
I love
on
that.
the shuffleboard. You got to lag to the end, so you hang over. And so I was just like, we're gonna get some Kenny Laggins lidocaine patches, but we could get some Owlite lidocaine patches too.
I mean,
Just use a
we'll see what we can
marker.
pull off. We might
Just
need to
gonna-
get at least another, couple hundred active subscribers before we can, qualify for some lidocaine patches. But
no, we
sky's
can
the
do
limit.
The 4% ones you can buy at just like Walgreens or something.
Oh yeah, then we can get those
Yeah.
in front of our logo. No problem. I
not
can do
the-
that at
not the
home.
medical grade stuff.
Oh yeah, if we're
regular-
talking over the counter, we got this.
Yeah.
We can have some Ally branded lidocaine patches over the counter. Like if it's
those would
Why
be
don't you
great
do
at
what the
cons,
flea
too.
market does? Get a whole bunch of stickers of Owlite and just slap it on everything.
what do you think I was gonna do? This is
Yeah,
dirt
like-
mall mentality, people.
This is booth stuff at cons. You just like you have the Owlite lidocaine patches unpeeled but laying there, and you're just like, oh, does your back hurt from walking around all day? Your knees getting a little bit sore? You gotta go sit there in the panel and you need to come. Here you go. You can just smack this on your back. We'll even put it on there for you.
Listen, where's Spaceballs?
We're
We got
nice.
Owlite the trading card. We're gonna get some Owlite action figures. We've got Owlite the movie. We're working on. We've got Owlite toilet paper things to pile. We've got Owlite everything.
with you.
Everyone who watches and sees the shows I'm on, I sometimes complain, not complain. I talk about how Drew wakes me up. And he's like, Carrie, wake up. Good morning. Time to do this. Go take your meds. Do this. I need this because then I go over to my chats and I
Mhm.
see Raz. And he's like, by the way, we're doing trading cards. We're doing a movie. I'm building the biggest box for whatever. And we're going to go ahead and do this, 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 and this. And I'm like,
In my defense, I literally wait all day for you to wake up. All day, because I won't call you
I
and
know.
wake you up. I wait all day. And then I get like at best 20 minutes a day to talk to you. So I'm like, here's what you missed on Lost. And then it-
yeah,
And Dell's
Well,
like, I haven't even had my deadly grounds yet.
Wait, hold on here.
right? I'm
51st dates. You could make a video.
Hi, I'm
And that
Tom.
way she has this that way she has this entire briefing.
Yeah.
Every
thought about
morning
it.
she goes and clicks on it. By the way, while you were sleeping, you might not remember, but this is what I did.
Yep, this is what's
it's
happening.
the
now.
vampires episode. I slept 14 hours last night. This is what I do.
You're prepared for the vampire episode
I
then.
do not see the sunrise very often or up. I want to say maybe
Not.
definitely not.
I could
else.
maybe definitely not make those.
You know,
Definitely maybe not.
when I was in school, I really thought that there were going to be random people walking around handing out drugs to me constantly.
That's what they made us
that
feel.
I would have to take there, that I would be like slipped, and then I would have to be overcoming the effects of the drugs while I was stop, drop, and rolling into a quicksand pit, and then having to like get pulled out of that ever so slowly, and then get
Yeah.
ready to give somebody a tracheotomy with a big pen.
All the schools I went to in Riverside were right by the police station. So like Dare was in every. They would just have a car in the parking lot with the Dare sticker on. You're like, drugs? Where's the drugs? What's going on? Are they here? Are they busting someone? Like every fucking school you'd grow up like, oh yep, there's the Dare band. And then
Sounds
they
like a
started doing
typical
the
weekend in college.
yeah, and they started doing like the Dare concerts, and they was bus us all to the Dare concerts, and we're just like, Dare to keep a kid on drugs. I mean, off drugs. And it was like a whole thing,
Funny.
and our community was so obsessed. So it was literally Dare and was it Gruff
Sad.
McGruff, the crime dog?
Yeah,
Gruff.
He was just in our schools every
take a bite out of
third
crime.
day.
And then you
Kyle
got
had
safety
his
pup.
hand raised.
I do have a question. I could be totally wrong, but
You're wrong.
I don't recognize that person that's over there.
Which one? Ron? You're pointing at
Amina
Ron.
Raz Amina.
You do
Yeah.
recognize her. You talk to her all the time
Hmm.
Do I?
in chat, yeah.
Yeah. She's in the chat.
And some shows. She's been in shows.
Oh,
She plays
Why,
darts.
why don't you speak,
Oh.
Amina?
Hi.
hi.
You guys were like all doing your thing. I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, well, I'm here.
Well, I've never recognized the name or any, I mean, being on here, so I was like, well, did I miss somebody? Hello,
No, it
hi.
was a name.
I want to meet you.
Just a name change. We're good.
Yeah.
It's
Some
the same
people
person.
don't use their real names. Pyle, Raz, Dell.
According to contracts in business, that
And
name
what's
is
your name?
that name is on my DBA. So technically, it is my name.
And technically, that is on all of the paperwork that they had to redo because it was on the paperwork.
Yes.
You know, this body has 2 honorary PhDs. However, this mentality does not. Therefore, I cannot be doctor.
Doctor.
And we have 3 doctors in here.
Doctor.
There you
Wait,
go.
just for a moment, doctor.
Doctor.
I'm not a doctor, but I like to play doctor.
I have
And
no
Dobro
idea
kid.
what that noise is, but
We were doing the whole doctor thing, and I did it, Jenny did it, and then Dell's just like
Doctor.
Does it sound like a fan?
paging
no,
Dr.
it's something
Dell.
in my. It's something outside. So sorry about that.
Tell
you
Gruff
know,
the Gruff
at
to get off
16
your
years-
lawn and fight crime elsewhere.
Maybe
Hey, Rob.
she should change her name to Dr. Moore. Dr.
Rob,
Moore.
can you go outside and go check on that?
Paging Dr. Herman.
You gotta go
I'm still-
outside Dell's house. Rob's
Well,
gonna
see,
check
I'm
on that
st-
for
I
you.
live upstairs
Mr.
in
Herman,
the
here is a telephone
disappointments
call
room.
for you at the front desk.
What about Dr. Alcom?
Yeah.
Dr. Alcom. Oh, from Johnny Mnemonic.
Yep. My Dr.
Henry
Gill.
Rollins. Henry Rollins.
Boy, we have a beautiful photo of the nurse that runs around this medical center called Inya Bottom.
We should see her. What's she look like? She hot?
Oh boy.
She single?
Oh boy, has that picture went through everybody on my message board.
She looker?
Oh, she looking something. We call that emotional death.
Emotional damage.
It's
Dr.
one step.
What, that lady?
There we go.
There we go. Just trying
We
to administer, an oral prostate exam.
Yeah, no big deal. It's normal.
Yeah.
So we got some options. We got 2 videos to watch. One is a 10-minute video. It was an hour. Thank you. You're welcome. Because we promised to actually show the video we made from the Frogman Festivals. Again, we got it down to 10 minutes. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. It's informative. It's a good time. Hello.
That's pretty much how I feel.
And so we got that one, and we have a conversation and a video about our new show that's this Friday. So which one do you guys want to do first? Up to you.
I say we go ribbiting.
I say we go Frogman first. That way we can keep the suspense for the new show a little bit longer.
All right. 1 second, because that means I got to do some magic and do some screen sharing because it's it's too long of a video to actually be able to upload.
I
This
just
nerd.
want to let everybody know that was my broke ass air conditioning that was going on that actually rattled outside. So, Rob, you need to fix the air conditioning.
Rob.
'Cause
Rob, you need to go fix the air conditioner. It's not
Wow.
working right.
it's rattling in the attic here in the disappointments room.
He's been really, really quiet, and he's been replaced in my house
Just
by
making sure this is
a
working
ghost,
correctly.
apparently.
All right. Let me know if you guys can hear this. And we can talk over if we want to.
I can hear it. Pyle and Raz versus Frogman.
So here's Pyle.
I don't know this person.
Where we at, Pyle?
A place I bought tickets for you.
The Frogman
Literally.
Festival.
Oh, is that what this is?
Yeah,
I love the
pretty sure.
music on
So
this.
there's a lot of frogs.
Look, there's a
Very
sign.
fun.
This is the
I'm actually
terrarium.
turn the music down a little bit because it's going to get
And you've
loud.
got the Toad Abode.
There we go. It's a little less. I don't know why this music just got me. It got me moving today.
It works. I like it.
I wanted to try that utterific cheese spread. And I just didn't have a chance. I forgot about it, to be honest. I got so busy. Erie, Florida.
You made such a deal about it in the van, though.
I know. Michael Thompson is a super cool author. We're going to be getting him in the near future. Jars. A lot of the audio is so hard because the convention was so busy.
Legends of the Hodog.
They had a really cool car that was decorated like a Hodag that Pyle fell in love with. I'm so tired today. I'm sorry.
I think I might have dated a couple Hodags in my day.
That's the Danny DeVito frogman.
I was just gonna ask, was that really Danny DeVito?
Yeah. This guy made all these puppets and has a kids show with cryptid puppets, and also wants to be on one of our shows, by the way. I got all these people's information. Like everybody that you're seeing, all their information. I have all their cards.
I want that stuffy.
So does Raz.
See that print back there? That's the one I won by rolling that dice and hitting a nat 20 at the beginning of the day.
That was a big
And
die.
that's a wall.
Yeah.
That's a wall.
This is their lineup for their guest speakers and stuff.
We're about to see a very magical parade. It is the cryptid parade. I'd say the Frogman parade, but I see very many cryptids. What do you think, Pyle?
I'm absolutely loving that.
Look at bagpipes. We got some frogs. Definitely. Some lovely frogs here.
The poor girl
Hello.
looks like she's been kidnapped.
Wonderful. Oh, we got the groovy Mothman shaking it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, thank you. Amazing, amazing.
People saw the camera and we're just
Absolutely.
immediately kind of...
Oh, that is so awesome. Hello. Uh-oh. We're getting down. Hell yeah.
Now I want frog jammies.
Oh, it's so fun.
I'm loving this as well.
I love lamb.
Go for some frog legs.
Oh, we're still going. Yeah.
We even got Krampus.
This is absolutely amazing. Thank
Why,
you,
we don't know,
guys.
but we got Krampus.
This is so cool.
Everybody wearing onesies.
Yeah,
Cryptid parades are truly absolutely amazing.
Another Mothman.
Yeah. All right, so Pyle and I
It's real,
decided that
guys.
the festival was just not enough. So we are on the hunt now for Frogman. And one of our first main stops over here is the castle. This is Loveland Castle. There
Just a
are
castle in
sightings all
Ohio?
around this area
Yep,
as well.
actually
Right,
multiples.
Miami River, which you can't right.
He
see
liked
from
castles
here
so
yet,
much,
but
he actually
we'll show that a
built
little bit
one
later.
for himself.
But yeah, we're going to go in
That's
this
a cool
castle.
looking
and see-
castle, I
see
got it.
what
Brick by brick by hand.
Yeah, I like
That
it.
was the entrance. That's important to note. We thought the door was closed for a reason, but that was the entrance. That'll matter later. That's a hole. We don't know why, but it had plastic in it. It looked like a mirror, and it was fun. That's a ladder you'll see the other side of later.
Where are the Frenchmen on top shouting at you?
They were busy.
You silly English nigget.
They did
I
not
blew
fuck
my
my
nose
general
at you.
direction. We did have
Your
some running
father-
commentary, but some of it got kind of inappropriate, and I was like, oh, I forgot we said some of these things. But that's for mine and Pyle's personal, file.
Those keep looking like toilets.
Wait,
to
here
me.
you go.
Abraham
This is important.
Lincoln in the window.
This is a big debate.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's important that you guys help us with this debate that will continue throughout the video.
No, that's not Abraham Lincoln.
Is that Abraham Lincoln?
Looks like that.
Why don't you have to pause it when you get close?
Oh, I can't. There's a better look at it later.
It just
it's like a
disappeared.
sundial.
Here you go.
Yeah, it's a sundial.
It begins.
Notice the sundial. The bewildered beast has been here.
And that was the first time I did that to him that day. I actually do this like 10 times throughout the day to him, which is why, yeah, we'll discuss that after this video. We thought that might have been a trapdoor. These are just the grounds. Again, we have not even been inside. We thought that this was the path that led to inside. And here is us realizing that this is the back door. Because people are trying to exit. And what you're not seeing in the video is how often we had to move and apologize because we were going the wrong way and it was holding everyone up.
And at this point, we look down and there's arrows.
Yeah, there's arrows all over the floor that tells you which way we should have been going the whole time. And it was not any of the ways we
And
went.
there,
The other side of the ladder,
Oops.
there's the bedroom that says look up. Spoiler alert, it's just a ceiling. There's nothing special up there. It's just a ceiling.
I'm gonna be honest, I can't get over the music.
I know, it's great. There's a spy hole, which goes to the front door, so you can see out or like when people are there. It felt like Pyle and Raz Adventure music to me. When I think about a Pyle and Raz Adventure, this is just the music that I thought of.
anything with you in it is an adventure. Yes.
And then I come to find out that there's nothing there.
There's a gate. Oh wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Please have this music on any other adventures you make.
They're great.
You have to copyright it as Raz and Pyle adventure music.
But that was another Bewildered Beast moment up there because the extension cord. This steps. Oh my god, I thought I was gonna die.
Right.
Your father smelled the
There we go.
This is not
There's a
even
close up.
In the window?
That can't be.
You're gonna get a big close up.
Let's ask her. Well, yeah, we have a question.
Lady that runs the museum, we bothered for this.
Okay.
Is that Abraham Lincoln, guys? Let's do a zoom.
Yeah, it looks like the silhouette on the pin.
I'll get out of your way so you can see it better.
Yeah,
See? I went.
I'm pretty
Listen,
sure that looks like
I'm pretty.
him.
She works here, but she's only pretty sure.
And the thing is,
Come closer, my little eyeballs.
Yes, he's trolling you all right now.
Closer. Closer. Okay, too close, ma'am.
So we totally discovered that we walked in the exit.
We did.
And we are now going to exit through the entrance just so things.
She laughed at us so hard when she found out that's what we
this
did.
is where we started our tour by like going, oh cool, this is a castle. Hey, there's a door, but it's closed. And walking that way, then outside and around the
And then we were ready to leave.
and we screwed up the whole traffic of the place. We were running into people. People that should have been
Well,
able
in
to
your
slip and come up the
defense,
stairs.
it's not exactly
were
marked.
stopped because we were
It's not
coming down the
labeled.
stairs.
well, just so you know, Raz made
guys,
a
we
comment.
almost
He's like,
left without seeing
vampire
the
law.
fucking
The
dungeon.
door's closed. It's
I
not
can't believe
where we need to go.
Yeah. And then we realized we missed the
see,
dungeon entirely
we
because we went the wrong
stumbled
way.
Whichever direction we felt like, and we almost left without seeing the dungeon, guys.
You could have had it labeled better.
Killing me.
Just the kind of music you want in a dungeon.
Yeah, it is. There's an issue here too.
This is like Dracula Dead and loving it. Oh my god.
You were talking about Abbott Costello the other day. This is the new version of Abbott Costello right here.
This
It's
is
Pyle and
what
Raz.
George, we talked about him before. I can't remember his name again. George Hamilton. Yeah.
Yep. And you look, there's a chainsaw on the shelf on the left. I don't know why.
No,
It's
Leslie
like the
Nielsen
blade of it
was
poking out, but that was a
Dracula
chainsaw.
Oh god.
I keep moving my head to try to see around
know.
where the camera is, and it's like
I got rushed out because apparently there was a giant group of people lining up behind me to look in there, and I had no idea until Pyle told me. So
And this is where we leave Pyle.
Uh-oh.
Pyle in his natural state.
In the stocks.
Out of the garden. Is that what I'm convicted of?
Yeah, Pyle did not stay out of the garden. So now he has to be locked in the stocks forever, eternally staring at the sign that we can only see the back of because it's pointing towards Skinford.
He left the
because
big
you're
pile in
filming
the
from the
garden.
garden.
So we have a problem. Someone
Really, Raz?
It gets better, Pyle.
I mean, not only can you not open the door,
You made me film this.
Pyle.
Come here.
I couldn't fit through there. So here's what Pyle is going to do. In order for us to get in the vehicle and drive away, notice the Pyle.
And there is
opening the
after
door.
credits, so pay attention.
There's a creeper van for a reason.
And this is a penalty we're going to abduct some people in.
No.
So yeah, he's just gonna, and that's how we're going to make our escape.
I can make your escape like that.
The more you know.
Da, 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 da.
There's after credits. There's after credits.
And Pyle's in.
The more I got. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he got attacked by the bewildered beast.
He did. He did actually.
So what you don't see is I got one leg in, and one leg was still behind Raz's seat. So I actually had to pick that up, go over the dashboard, and then curve it in, pull it in, and then jam it down. I said, good. And then we look over, and there's a dog in the vehicle.
Watching him the whole time.
So
That was the bewildered beast. The dog was wondering, what the fuck are you doing?
So I did this bewildered beast to shit to him all day at the con at Loveland Castle, but it wasn't until later we went back to the festival after we had our Pizza Ninja thing we talked about previously. We went back, saw the festival, the film at the festival, and that's when we were like, okay, we're making a movie. I was like, yeah, and it's the bewildered beast. And he's like, yep. So that's why we are making an Allight Pictures movie called The Bewildered Beast, which we've already got a lot of stuff set up for, and we're going to start pre-production in the beginning of April, guys. So look out for The Bewildered Beast.
Dun dun dun.
More info as we make it up.
We need our sound. We need our sound, Raz.
So
now it's your
need to
announcement.
go. We need to go through and do some more adventures with that music.
Exactly. I got that music saved, buddy. Like that's our music.
I'm gonna have some like hardcore when there's.
But we may have some moments where it has to get hardcore, but then it'll go right back to the the adventuring music.
The part where it sounds like it's watching a elephant family with their trunks around the tail going back and forth, and all you can see is my big butt the entire time.
Given that almost all of my
bewildered beast in the shadows. You see it?
Notice the shadows.
That's creepy.
I will leave out a camera for the dresser people to take some footage of me sleeping, as that is my natural state. But there's going to be that's still sleeping.
Maybe the sound of the bewildered beast should be the air conditioner that we heard earlier.
At one point, the music for Bewildered Beast was Twist by Korn in the initial video that was ever made in my freshman year of high school.
Well,
while a bunch of bushes were shaking and moving, and that's as much as you ever actually saw of the Bewildered Beast. Yeah, this goes back to my freshman year, man. Like it's a long process of Bewildered Beasting. Many decade hunt I've been on.
I enjoyed it. And then we get to figure out why there's so many tornadoes around.
We did. We discovered a truth behind a myth. Pyle made me aware of this thing that he saw on the internet about how there weren't as many tornadoes until roundabouts, like driving roundabouts were invented.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to drive around one a bunch of times, and I couldn't get the video because I was nauseous. And sure enough, we made a miniature tornado. So we're going to show you how that works in the Bewildered Beast movie, because it's an important part of the science behind the Bewildered Beast. We think these roundabout tornadoes could be connected, in fact, to somehow the origins of the Bewildered Beast.
We also wanted to know how many times we could go around before it becomes illegal.
Yeah, so we'll let you guys know how that turns out. We're just going to let them know it's for science. And then,
oh my God, this is no.
We should not be allowed.
Are you going to have Roundabout by Yes playing in the background?
No, because that would get us sued.
You spin me right round, baby, right round.
I want to get arrested for driving around in circles for a couple hours and also get sued. That's double dipping into some legal trouble, buddy. I just can't abide.
So I feel like if there is a lawyer that watches our shows,
we need
please
one.
Contact us. We need to know what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we don't. We don't need to know. That way we can say I'm sorry.
Deniability, bro.
Look at it this way, Pyle. If we need to know what we're doing wrong, someone will tell us at some point.
That is also
if they
fair.
find out about it, sure. Then that's the problem.
It's not wrong until you get caught, right?
Correct.
And if you enjoyed this adventure, we will have some adventures on Saturday of Horror Hound, because Pyle will actually be there as well. So we'll be in the same place again at another convention somewhere.
Yep.
And speaking of Pyle and announcements,
before we do that, Del, you had your hand up.
Oh yes. Actually, okay. Lincoln has been safe from tornadoes for an exceptionally long period of time. We have the cone of safety that comes out when storms occur. We added some roundabouts in a couple of years ago, and on the 40th anniversary of this sweet shop, ice cream store in downtown or in Lincoln, they were hit, and it was after the addition of roundabouts. And there were people like in the parking lot just outside. They had to rush out all of their employees, and it got smacked on their anniversary. So
Wow.
Hey guys,
and they
we're
were
giving you
unable to
proof
open
here.
again.
That's
So
just
We are
yeah, so
giving you
that's
proof that roundabouts cause tornadoes.
yeah, we hadn't had any that had hit in town. Like they'd go around us. They hit this one town over and over and over. I don't know why they keep rebuilding it because they just rebuilt it again to get torn down.
Is it called
but
Xenia, Ohio?
No,
Clock
it's in
Tower in
Nebraska.
Xenia.
But, yeah, but that was
That's a
a
joke.
huge tornado. And they're like, "Get the girls! The sirens are going. Get to the cellar." And no,
How
we're
did
gonna
this
stay
happen?
here.
The
We cannot. The
roundabouts.
dairy suite is gone.
Yeah.
It had gone back for the 1950s, and it's no longer there, guys, because
That hurts my heart.
freaking roundabouts. There used to be ice cream. They
Ohio.
did sprinkle cones and everything.
Yeah,
Ohio
thanks a lot,
actually
roundabout.
has 2 towns, 2 cities.
Crying.
One is Xenia and one is Van Wert, and they are tied for having the most tornadoes hit their cities in the state of Ohio.
I think ours is Hallam.
But yeah.
And she muted. I don't know if she meant to or not, but she did it.
She meant to because she's typing.
Yeah. She,
Oh,
she
it
was
was
the angry type. When she starts typing, like her neighbors can hear it.
Oh, okay. It was funny because she said something, and as she said it, it muted, and I was like, oh.
We could do like a beat sample with her typing, like totally. It would be amazing.
Use her
Yeah,
angry
I-
typing
I
as the
type-
gorilla beast sound.
Yeah.
I am an angry typer. It's oh, I guess. Well, some of these are huge towns though, but they're yeah. We have a couple of towns that just get hit constantly by tornadoes. Really, but we also.
Notice the typing.
I'm gonna go on an adventure with Mom sometime soon. Which is that there is a town here in Nebraska that has one person. She is the mayor and the bartender and the librarian and everything.
Yeah.
And she just turned 90 years old.
Yep.
And so she and the library consists of 5,000 books that used to be her husband's, and until he died, he was the librarian and had built the library with his own personal library, which I think is really cool. And so we just learned about it. I think that's something that belongs on the Owlite Network.
Definitely.
Tour of the town, go and have a burger. Apparently people from all over the surrounding neighborhoods come and
Go to her bar.
And
Yeah.
check on her and help her out with stuff. But
She's very profitable, apparently.
yeah. Oh, she's making great money, and she's getting around like nobody's business because she's 90 years old and she lives by herself. So she's just like,
And there's hardly anybody that goes through that town except for going to the bar. And it's funny because she could blow a stop sign, and who's going to arrest her? Herself?
Oh yeah.
As
So
mayor.
remember, send me the footage so I can make a fun video, and I'll let you choose the adventure music. I'll let you choose it, and I'll use what you choose. But hold your camera sideways for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Like the phones have got to be side. They just look so much nicer.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to edit.
Yeah. We'll see
Yeah,
who's
someone
taller,
didn't
her
tell
or
me
my
in the
brother.
first.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
are you ready for your announcement now, sir?
I don't know how to make the announcement, but I'm just going to say everything I got, and I'm going to brain blurt because this is just how I do things. If you have not met me,
I was trying to lead you in, man.
What timing?
It's like, woo.
Sorry,
Did my wife come down?
I think that was Frogman and his magic wand again.
You get you want your announcement? This will lead you in.
There.
I think we're already down to the sickness. There's just a 10-minute video we played that proved that.
So, if you guys have not met me, I am Pyle Hazard. I am happy to be part of the Elliott Network, and I am very, very excited. Oh, wow, I got the whole screen now. But not only am I happy to be part of the Elliott Network, this coming up Friday, I will be officially a host of a show. And it is going to be Chainer's Haunted Secrets, where we will go and we will talk to people, and we will absolutely get all the information that we can on everything that is in the haunt industry, from home haunters to big haunts to vendors to even people that put these little special events that you actually get on a tour bus and you tour around about 5 different haunts, because I have plenty of people all around this great country, and so does Raz, that want to come on and talk about their life in the haunt industry. So yeah, sound good?
No.
Sounds great.
I'm excited.
And we have a little video to play for that. Because, you know, I gotta make an ad for everything. It's just what I do. I just gotta find it again because things go in places.
It's at the. You want me to play it?
If you see it, yes.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
So that is footage from haunts that I have been absolutely a haunter or I've guest haunted at. I went through and I got some different footage from different haunts, and Raz was awesome. He put it together, and at the end, the flag that flies is the flag of Chainer.
Nice. Why it's there. And yes, that was me singing. That was the band Freak I used to be a part of. That was at a big festival with over 30,000 people were there that evening listening to that song and many others. It was called Horror Score, and it's one of the few that's not on an album, but it is the title song at the end of the film, Slasher's Gone Wild. The first movie I was ever in that you can find on YouTube.
It is. It is.
Nice.
I like it. It's got a lot of bass and, you know.
So anybody watching this in the Ohio area that has any of the recordings of Freak, you can forward them to me.
Actually, I found out the entire album we released is on Spotify.
Really?
Oh, now I got to look that up.
Yeah, the entire album is on Spotify. It's Freak, F-R-E-Q. There's also, it could also be under Freakology because our guitarist did weird things. Also on YouTube, there's some additional stuff under under a channel called Freakology.
Are we going to link that on the website?
Oh, we totally do not have to do that. No,
We totally
let them discover it themselves. That's old shit.
because
Fun
I can
shit, but it's
tell
old
you that stuff is actually really cool to write to.
Yeah.
I've done it on more than one occasion. However, in the many years gone by and the switching of PCs and moves between states and stuff, I have lost my copies.
I was able to get all the files of everything from the album and a bunch of lost stuff like Horror Score. The sequel to Insomniac Cartoon Theater, I was able to get a hold of a live version of.
Yeah.
So yeah, weird stuff, guys. I do weird things with things I used to do and don't do anymore.
So before we start squirreling away, I do want to say that this show is a show that is every other Friday.
Yes,
so
every other Friday.
You'll get an episode this coming up Friday, then you'll get another one here in 2 weeks. This coming up one, our episode 1 is absolutely going to have my dear friend Mia from Carnage. She's the owner of Carnage.
Yes, we love Mia.
Not only do we have her, we have the blessing by her that we can give some tickets away. Not only can we give tickets away, if you happen to be around the Dayton area, the Shelby County area,
Columbus,
Miami County, we were talking about it, and me, Raz, and his wonderful wife will be going to Carnage on Friday. And if you choose to come and you win the tickets, if you win the tickets and you choose to come with us, we will transport you in my personal creeper van that you have seen in that video.
Yeah.
I promise I'll get the blood out of the seat first.
Yeah. And we there'll only be a little bit of terrorizing and maybe some storytelling on the trip. Like just a little. And
you know what? There might be pizza because I like pizza and I'm a fat guy.
Yeah. There could be pizza. We eat a lot of pizza. So pay attention to that, guys. We'll run that right up until the Thursday prior. So this is only gonna be like a 6-day giveaway. Like someone's going to win the Thursday right before I leave for the convention. So because I'll be at the convention during that, and I'll have to come back from the convention to meet up to do that, and then go right back, and then you'll meet me there the next day.
So are we giving the tickets away that Friday?
I mean, do you want to give it away on Friday, or do you want to give it a couple days? We can totally do it on Friday. We better start pumping it more now, but we can. Might be easier.
Well,
We have been pumping it in random places already.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna pump it even more. Y'all pump it.
Oh, yeah.
Tell your friends, tell your family. Get on this, guys. You two will be in a Raz and Pyle adventure video with that music. Because we will be filming the experience. We're not going to film walking through the haunt because that's disrespectful. But we'll film right up until then and then some afterwards.
Yeah,
Who did the Pump It Up song? Because we have to have like footage of Friday going and like posting things, and we get pump it up, pump it up.
I can do that. With
Technotronic.
What you're saying is we need a montage.
That'd be it. Well, I guess we can't do. Well, we can do like 10 seconds at a time of it or something like that to keep from breaking copyright.
No, I'll play the same adventure music, and I'll be just like pump it up, pump it up, just really awkwardly, and that's it. It'll be great.
But we absolutely want to keep so many shows coming to you guys, and this is something that's really dear to me. And Raz has 30 years. I have 20 years. This guy in the middle.
It's a combined 50 years of haunting. How long
he's
have
got
you been doing it, Ron?
30 minutes. 30 minutes of haunting.
Yeah, 30 minutes sounds about right.
How long you been doing it? Like legit. We've never actually talked about like the exact down to the year. Like you think you've been doing it. So I'm curious.
Since 2012. So what? 13 years.
So that's 63 combined years. Add Matt in. That's 67 combined years of haunting.
I have a week, but I work the gift shop.
12
years. It definitely counts.
And that's the thing.
67 years in a week.
So if anybody knows anybody that's a haunter that would, want to watch this, or, because we're going to go through, I even got people that wanted to possibly come on the show just to kind of talk about makeups and the warnings on makeups, because did you know some makeups have has latex in it.
Oh yeah,
latex.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
And you grab it off the shelf. What's the makeups that don't like saturate you and bleed into you and make you look like a giant Smurf the next day?
Yep.
There's a lot to the industry.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm excited.
Don't use acrylic on your skin.
No, ever, or your scalp, especially. Don't do that. Another thing that I'm super excited about this is because me and Pyle talk a lot about the Ohio haunt industry. We're in OHA, the Ohio Haunters Association. We all have haunts in Ohio, and Ohio is pretty much the pulse of the industry for haunts for the most part. But like one thing that we're really passionate about is that it doesn't matter what country, state, whatever, what haunt you're at, you're your family. And a big thing that I'm excited about for this show is that we're going to get a lot of people, not just in Ohio. We're going to be able to get people from all over the place, because we don't care about the drama. We don't care about the this, that, whatever's going on. We're haunts. We come together. Right. We do stuff together.
No matter where you are.
Exactly. Right. We're all a giant family, even when the fact that some of us don't get along is even better, because that makes us more of a family. We're dysfunctional. That's how families legitimately are. So we want to welcome anyone and everyone, no matter what your affiliation, your haunt is. I mean, get a hold of us. Come on, talk to us.
And absolutely, one of the shows on that Friday is setup day for Midwest Hunters Convention, which I will be at. So I'm going to get a hold of a couple of people. We're going to sit down and we're going to chit-chat about stuff that's around the Cleveland area. Or not the Cleveland, Chicago. My bad.
Chicago. And there's about a 10% chance I might be there. 10% chance.
I got a Foot Locker you can sneak in.
I'm too fat for your Foot Locker, buddy.
It's a big Foot Locker.
I'll just sleep in the trailer. Just give me a cot or a hammock or something. That'll work.
I've done that many times, dude. It's actually really comfy. Anyway.
I did it in U-Hauls when we were on tour of the band, because sometimes we lived in U-Hauls. It sucks so bad. But yeah, so there is an ad I want to play to get out of the way real quick, because we're actually almost at the halfway point of the damn show. But we are playing ads at close to the halfway point during the show. We do have ad space available if you're interested in advertising your product, business, or your own infomercials that you randomly make up in Facebook chats. Either way, we got you. So just hit us up. You can talk to us about that. Our first I'm just having such trouble finding videos today because there it is. I keep looking in the wrong freaking sections. So yeah, here you guys go. It is officially yep, I lost. Yep, there it is again. It's officially our first ad. Here you go.
Greetings and shabebans. We are the Retro Redoctopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh. And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorking Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
I want to watch that.
It's a great show, man. Like, the thing is, a lot of their shows are audio only, but they do a video series as well. So they have some stuff up on their YouTube. A lot wherever you can find podcasts, you can find the audio, their actual audio podcast. They've got an amazing Facebook group. Again, Retro Doctopus. They're a very interactive Facebook group, man. Like seriously, they're posting questions. They like to hear from everybody in the group. Everybody gets welcomed when you come in. Like, it's one of the coolest Facebook groups that I've been a part of, and I'm pretty active in it.
And they're just exceptionally awesome people.
Yeah.
Like, they're some of our best friends. We love
them.
them.
And if you didn't know, if the voice wasn't familiar enough, Parasite Steve is actually
Steve Van Samson.
Yeah. Which you guys have seen with us many, many, many times. So we absolutely love Steve. We love all of them. Also, Dorkening love. Just you know,
the roundabout Steve Van Samson is the reason that I am part and we are part of the Dorkening.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm in a book with him. I watched him on one of the shows where they were doing one of his book releases, and started following that show, and then started following the Dorkening, and then built up my cred being like big fan and got to be on shows and super
Wait
awesome.
a minute. Aren't you both in a book with him?
We are.
Yes, we are. But I was in the first
one
book,
first.
and then
I was in the first one. I was only with him in the second one. More Lore for the Mythos 2.
Yes. Books over here.
Yeah. And we're meeting up with Steve Van Samson and Derek Rook at Horror Hound because they're going to be there with Rough House Publishing all weekend as well. So maybe we'll get maybe we can get a video adventure where it's Pyle, Raz, and Steve. And Matt, because
Derek,
that's with me.
you need to have Derek.
Oh yeah, Derek will be there too. Derek will be there. We'll have just a big adventure video. It'll be nuts.
Yeah, we don't.
The Retro Redoctopus is on Podcast Addict, the app that I use.
Yes.
There are 198 episodes, and it also shows under the Dorkening, which has 10 episodes.
Yep, because they do different content for their YouTube versus that versus some stuff they do for the Dorkening. Yep.
So I went ahead and subscribed to both. And looking at your Freakology on Spotify, you have a total of 8 monthly listeners, man.
And I didn't know that because I didn't set it up, and I get nothing from that. That's a long, weird story involving the band splitting up, the guitarist moving to California, and then secretly doing all kinds of stuff with our music and not telling us about it. And I found out by accident it was all on YouTube and Spotify, and not all that long ago, to be honest with you.
So you're saying we shouldn't listen to it because you don't get any compensation for it, or we should listen to it just because it's something cool from the past?
You should, because it's something cool from the past, and I never did music to make money on it. So why would I give a shit about making money now?
Good point.
And plus, I
Fair
still
play.
own my portion of the rights for all that stuff, which is why I use it in promos and all kinds of other fun stuff. And some of the comedy skits you'll see on there, if you've ever listened to Outlight Radio, a couple of them have found their way into Outlight Radio as well. So I've been keeping the comedy skits alive because it's fun. That's where God in a Box comes from, Bible action figures. Larry the Leopard part sold separately.
So I want to tell you, last weekend I went to Trader's World, and I was stuck right beside a booth that all I kept on listening to was He-Man.
So you guys know Trader's World is a flea market. It's an enormous fucking Ohio flea market.
Like
right across from another flea market.
That's pretty nice size. But yeah, I mean, and I went through so much of my childhood listening to He-Man, Smurfs, and a whole bunch of other stuff that this guy was trying to get people to come in because that was a whole bunch of retro stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it was right beside the booth I was stuck at. But you know what? I had fun.
That should be our tagline, Tom. Infinite levels of awesomeness.
It is.
But yeah, I think that it's awesome.
You had fun. Almost had to punch a lady over pizza. You know.
Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
It was a good day. I didn't have to use my AK.
But listen, you finished your day the same way I finished my day after that shit show of a convention I went to. We got together, hung out with Jaden, and we got some food, and then we hung out with Matt for a little bit, and then it was a good ending to our day.
Yeah, we gotta say hi to Fred.
Yeah, we said hi to Fred too. Yeah, we did more videos taunting Fred because we do.
So Voldemort rapping. It was a bad day. I didn't get to use my AK.
Man,
I've done so much worse, dude. You have no idea. You haven't known me long enough to just see the horrible things that I put. If my old Facebook page was still active because it got taken down, and I have no idea why, because I did nothing wrong. I had 11 years worth of. Jesus Christ, Carrie, why did you do that?
You just reminded me of something I did that was terrible that I'm looking for right now.
But yeah, I did all sorts of stuff like that. So we're 50 minutes into the show, and we haven't talked about vampires
Still
yet.
haven't talked about vampires.
Oh yeah. We can do that. Well, we should talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm looking for this stupid thing I did, and I can't find it. But
Okay,
but
well,
we can do that.
Well, you're looking at this stupid thing. This was something I was thinking of last night when we were doing all of the Universal Monsters stuff. Kept popping up when we were doing the Reel of the Monsters. But this is totally me geeking out, nerd-wise. They've been releasing Universal Monsters comics. And James Tynion got a 4-issue miniseries of Universal Monsters Dracula. And it's all out now. You can check it out. But the coolest thing about it is that Dracula never speaks. Well, there's two cool things about it. Dracula never speaks, and the way that they made it, he had Jonathan Harker stay at home, and Renfield was the one who went over and brought him back, and that's how he became his thrall. And Dr. Seward is Mina's father, so they kind of rearranged the characters, but it's gorgeously done. The person who did the artwork, and I'm gonna have to pull that up real quick. It's like every page is an oil painting, and it's just freaking beautiful. And of course, I have to scroll down further because I went to the wrong. I didn't pull this up ahead of time because I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, you're good.
I'm not gonna talk
Tell
about
me
that.
when you're solid, because I did find my thing to read. It takes
Okay, I am solid.
I'm patient.
So
are you sure?
Martin
you're looking?
Simmons is who did the Martin. It's Simmonds. I think it's Simmons. I don't think it's Simons, but he did the artwork for it. And these are put up by Skybound, and there's some others coming out. Michael Walsh is doing Frankenstein, and the creature is being released. I think it's Ram V who's doing the creature. But
I'm still hurt over Creature's death yesterday.
So real fast, I've got to jump out of here because I've got to go down to Kentucky for my actual job.
Well, then get the hell out, man. If I had our adventure music, I'd play it right now.
It's always
you guys all have a great one. It's always a
man.
pleasure, and hopefully we get a whole bunch of wonderful people to come join us on the 15th.
Definitely.
So have a great night, guys.
See you later, Pyle. So my funny little stupid thing that I did.
Yes.
Voldemort got mentioned, and that's what reminded me of this. The Nickelback song. This is how you remind me.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the song?
Yes.
Voldemort's point of view. That's the tune I'm using, like for the lyrics, right? It's never made it as an orphan. I couldn't cut it as a prefect kneeling. Tired of living like a salesman. I killed your parents just to catch a feeling, and this is how you remind me of what I really am. Now my skin's all hoary. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for handing you a wand worth breaking. I've been wrong. I've been down to every little chamber in Hogwarts. These 5 words in my head scream, are my Horcruxes dead yet? And then it goes to, it's not like you didn't know that. I want to kill you, and I swear I still do. But you found all the Deathly Hallows. And in the end, I know I'm probably going to be screwed. And that is how you remind me of who I really am. There you go.
Man.
I don't know when I wrote that or why I wrote that. Apparently, according to Reddit, it was 4 years ago, and I have no memory of writing it at all. And I was looking through my Reddit history the other day, and it came up, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
That's
karaoke, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can do. I mean,
I'm not gonna change lyrics into a karaoke song. That would be tough. But I might do a contest like on the show before I go, like to see which songs I sing, because I'm definitely doing "Fire, Water, Burn" by the Bloodhound Gang because it's the most enthusiastic song ever written, and I love doing karaoke. But I'm thinking about a second one. And I'm going to give you guys a couple choices later on as soon as I get a little bit of a list, because Michelle really wants me to do a particular song from Rocky Horror that I once did at a karaoke that people enjoyed.
Sweet Transvestite?
Yes, that's what she really wants me to do.
Of course.
At the convention. That's what she's wanting me to do, but I'm gonna come up with a list of options and let people vote on what my other song is, and I'll do it. I mean, I will. I have no shame. I don't give a shit. But we'll talk about that later.
You should make a meme of the Nickelback photograph song. You know, look at this photograph where Chad holds up the photograph, and put Voldemort's face in the photograph.
Oh yeah,
and then do the lyrics next to it.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. And you know what's in the picture? Nothing, because vampires don't have a fucking reflection. Let's go. Yes, but that's my segue.
Vampires. Voldemort wasn't a vampire, but there are vampires out there. Vampires amongst us. We have not discussed such things as psychic vampires.
Yes.
That was something we were going to bring up tonight.
Psychic and emotional vampires. Yeah, both of those.
Or
vampire cults, like real life ones.
That suck your life force.
Mm-hmm.
And
Let's go. Let's get into it.
All right.
What you got?
You're the leader, man.
I think I've done plenty of leading in this show. I think I've led us in all the wrong directions already.
I started a new podcast the other day on Spotify.
And I just did the whole fucking segue back to vampires. So
no, I'm leaning somewhere.
So suck it, literally. Okay. Go ahead.
No, I started a new podcast on Spotify the other day called Horror Shop Radio.
You started one, or you started listening to one?
Started listening to one.
Okay, because around here that means we just started another show, which we do like every 5 seconds. So I was confused.
No, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and most of them are horror anthology based, like No Sleep Podcast. But you already know that. Creepy Tales, Chilling Tales, all that kind of stuff. Scary Stories, Tell in the Dark, whatnot. So this one's called Horror Shop Radio. And one of the short stories that they had on Horror Shop Radio was one about a succubus. It was about a guy who was not very popular with the ladies, finds out about black magic in a way to summon a succubus just so he can lose his V card.
Okay.
And
that's legit.
I was kind of wondering, where's the story going with it? And then it does kind of have a twist ending, but it's also kind of predictable at the same time. I don't want to give it away because it was a really cool story, and I like the Horror Shop podcast, so I still want to give a shout out to them as well.
Hell
yeah. Plug. I get nothing off of that just because I listen to it, but
I checked out a similar story to that, but this was a while back. It was also about summoning a succubus to have sex with, but it was specifically the succubus from the original D&D Monsters Manual. Because, dude, the artwork of that succubus in that manual is a big chunk of the reason why parents were trying to ban it and religious groups got involved, like that particular picture. Fun fact, a poll that was done years back from all kinds of people at all kinds of cons, and it was a giant study that they did. People were, males, and actually some females as well, were asked, what was the first picture you remember pleasuring yourself to and like growing up? And the most common answer was the succubus from the D&D Monsters Manual. It's a weird fact, but it's a thing, which apparently is why they got
seen
wrote
it,
that
so
story.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
I
dude,
I
yeah,
don't know the
she's
picture.
quite attractive.
Oh, I'm sure most succubus usually are succubi, succubuses.
Yep, succubi.
Succubi.
Succubi. Okay.
Yes,
Succubi night.
I'm working on a story. It's Succubi's Lullabies. So there we go.
So psychic vampires. What do you know about psychic vampires?
Psychic vampires are horrible. It a lot of they share a lot of characteristics and sometimes are narcissists, but it is people who can walk into a room and just suck the emotion out of everyone. They overpower, they overspeak, they overdo everything until they just take all of the energy into themselves. They're very uncomfortable people to be around, and it's sometimes it's not like so much a supernatural type of thing as it is just somehow there are people who are wired that way, and most of them enjoy being that way, so they don't go out of their way to try to do something different to make themselves comfortable to be around. They just that's just how they are, and it's a horrible thing to be in the presence of. And I have
I
met
know people like that in normal life, but
Yeah.
can you give like a literary example of what would be a psychic vampire?
No, this is what I'm saying in real life. These are the
Okay.
people that you encounter.
This is a term. This is a term. Like, so there is an actual thing called a psychic vampire, but there's also the term psychic vampire, which is what she's using right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll discuss
for
both.
real people, and I'm sure we've all this is encountered them. If they like to go out to parties because there's a lot of energy around, and it's not something where they're like sitting at home and they're all occult and like, oh, I'm going to go out and they plan it. It's just how they are as human beings.
Emotional vampires is also an interchangeable term with that because it kind of works the same way, but with emotional energy. Have you ever been in a room with someone and they just really suck the life out of the room? Like everybody's just like, there's just something about them that just those are the kind of people those terms are typically related to as well. In addition to what she's explaining, is it's both sides of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it with people that are typically manic depressive, but may or may not have been diagnosed as such. All they want to do is talk about their problems and be negative, and nobody really wants to be around them for that reason. But at the same time, they kind of want to, like, we get it. We want to show support and all of that and be friendly, but, God, you're hard to be around.
That's the emotional vampire side of it. Yeah, that's one example of the emotional side. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the psychic vampires, they feel like they're very positive.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those things where they'll one up a lot to like, oh, they'll let you tell your story because they'll hype it, and then they'll hype themselves even higher.
Yeah.
Because then they're taking everything that you fed into it and you're like, oh, they were interested in me. Let me pay attention to them. And it then gets pulled straight into, like, oh, but I'm so much better than you are even. And like I said, a lot of this is a narcissism thing too, but as far as like you'd be diagnosed, bipolarism too would go with it if you're the hypermanic states. But some people are just hypermanic, and you can get away with it. But some people have that extra little thing going for them in their personalities that it does just draw away from everybody. It leaves you exhausted to have spent time with them. And it's not just you, it's like most people that they go around with. And you'll notice that they're very popular people, but also they have a lot of friends, but not many close friends because it is very, very hard to spend one-on-one time with them.
Right.
Yeah, and typically, when you spend that much time around that kind of person, when you go home, you feel drained and you don't even know what happened, and it takes time for you to recharge until you realize that it's being around that person that's actually doing it to you, and then you have to be like, well, this person's my friend, I should support them, but it's so hard. When do you cut them off? When do you have to say enough is enough? And I like you, I'm sorry for all your problems, but I can't be around you.
Yeah, sometimes you hit that point, you just got to get out on your own, man.
Yeah, and you'll feel like, oh, I'm being a terrible friend, I'm not being a good person this person isn't really doing anything wrong, but you have to worry about your own mental health on things. And this is one of those weird, rare situations where it's maybe they aren't doing anything wrong on purpose, but you just have to cope with the fact that, okay, there are the people out there who can handle this, and I'm not the only friend that they have, so it's easier to, if you have experienced these type of people before, once you meet them, limit your exposure. Like,
yeah,
talk to them in public, but then cut it off there, because if you let one of these people into your life that are going to be, and they're going to be coming over to your house a lot or visiting you all the time, it'll just exhaust you and take you to the point where you don't even want to get up anymore in the morning. And it sounds horrible to say about a person. And yeah, like I said, once again, this isn't a supernatural type of thing. It's just how some people are wired. And
the supernatural aspects, psychic vampires and emotional vampires are very similar to regular vampires. They don't have, they won't be as pale. They'll appear more human. They're not affected by the sun, a lot of the traditional stuff that vampires are affected by. And they don't need blood to survive. They need either psychic energy or they need emotion, and they can actually feed and sustain themselves on those things.
I think there's a character in the Marvel universe. It might even be Dracula, which is labeled as a psychic vampire. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, because like Morbius is a vampire, but obviously he's living off of fake blood or that he concocted. But I think Dracula is actually a character in the Marvel universe as well, although I'm not too sure how far they go into the mythos of Dracula, or if they just kind of create their own lore for him.
No, I remember an X-Men villain named Selene, she was a mutant, but she was actually considered and classified in Marvel as a psychic vampire.
Yeah, she could turn her power on and off, though. She had the ability to control her power.
No, she was a main villain who survived for millennia, even before the X-Men were a thing, by feeding on the essence of other people. That was her whole thing.
Was she in the Hellfire Club with like the White Queen and all that? Emma Frost.
At one point in time, I think she did some stuff there, but she was a major player, like on and off. She is considered one of the strongest mutant magic users as well, like more so than Storm. Actually, she's rated higher than Storm on the magic ability scale, and apparently, the only X-Men anywhere near her that is considered stronger than her as a magic user is in the X-Men universe is Magic. Magik. Even Madeline Pryor is not as strong as Selene.
I think Magic started out as one of the New Mutants, though, when she was young.
But yeah, it was an interesting character. I can't remember what Dracula's classified as, but I do remember Selene, like in particular. And I could be getting some of those details wrong, because it has been a bit since I've followed me some X-Men.
Dracula is a traditional vampire. However, Selene is considered a psychic vampire. But she was back in the 17,000 years before Central Europe, is in the Hyborian Age is when she was born.
I was pretty sure it was a long time before. I just couldn't remember.
There's like she was an Incan for a while. She was in the Hellfire Club. But let's see where it goes down to her. I got to go through.
She's probably hanging out with Cthulhu and Leviathan and all those elders.
I'm fairly certain her and Apocalypse bumped heads a couple times.
Yeah, she has life force absorption. She can just drain the life by physical touch from them. And if she takes all of it, they will just crumble into dust.
I remember that. That's sick.
If she only drains part of their life force, she achieves a measure of psychic control over their victim's mind.
Holy crap.
Can cause a human being to become a psychic vampire like herself, but subordinate to her will.
Yeah, and she's an interesting example, because it is a legitimate example of, it's the best, like probably damn near the best pop culture version of what a psychic vampire is. Like everything you described are all the qualities.
MCU now.
But again, almost none of the drawbacks from traditional blood-sucking vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the Sushi Stackhouse fans, True Blood fans, will know Lamuel Bridger, who is a psychic vampire as well.
That's true. That's another really good example too. Yeah, in pop culture.
Now, are we also considering like? I know we're talking about psychic vampires, but like, I can't even remember what it was. But I read a book that said that the people that were doing reality shows, causing drama, to elicit responses. That was a kind of
Emotional vampire.
vampirism. Yeah, emotional.
Yeah, that's the emotional vampire subclass of psychic vampire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are including that in that.
Yes. That is something we're talking about.
Yeah, so I mean that does segue into people that consider themselves real life vampires. And when you talk about doing reality shows and stuff like that, you kind of have to wonder how much of that is scripted and the people are acting versus, what they consider themselves to actually be vampire wise.
Yeah.
They're out there drinking like tomato juice and calling it blood or whatever, or pricking their finger and letting it bleed a little bit into their tomato juice just so they can say they're drinking blood, or they get their canines capped so they can have actual fangs and all that kind of stuff. People with anemia usually, they'll lean into it because of their pale complexion already and aversion to sunlight as it is,
Yeah. Before we go too much further into that, because I have a lot to say about that, I want to close that emotional vampires with an example. One of the best example in modern pop culture, like current modern pop culture, the comedy horror series, vampire series, What We Do in Shadows, the TV show, not the movie. The character Colin Robinson is an emotional vampire, and he has a lot of deep explanations on how he feeds on people. And he found, actually, for some reason, boredom is the emotion that feeds him more full than any other emotion. So he became an accountant. And like he goes on these long diatribes, and you just
Fred
see
the
him
vampire accountant
puffing up and like feeding on the emotion. And you look over, and the person next to him is just asleep somewhere. And he's like, "That work here is done." But yeah, like what you're talking about with the real vampire stuff, and a reason I brought this up with before is because back in fucking 1996, okay, we're gonna go back a bit on this. A lot of people attribute like this era of time to be kind of a resurgence of the Satanic Panic, which goes back much farther, and we can talk about that on other shows. I'm sure we don't need to get into all that right now because that would be way too much to cover right now. But there was this late 90s resurgence of it, and one of the big causes was Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game. This hit people as hard as the D&D thing did during the the initial Satanic Panic stuff. Like it was just hard hitting because in '96. There was a group of people that took it very seriously, too seriously. There's the tabletop role-playing game, but it also was very popular for LARPing. And I've been a vampire LARPer. I've LARPed many times, even as recently as a couple years ago with Vampire the Masquerade. You dress as a vampire, you pretend to be a vampire, but there's a story you're telling. When you have to challenge someone, there's a system with paper, rock, scissors to see if you're successful. There's all kinds of really cool things that you do. You're not actually hurting anyone or drinking blood or nothing like that. But these people took it very seriously, just like the D&D case that they made a Tom Hanks movie out of later called Mazes and Monsters, where the group of people LARPing D&D took it too far. These people took it too far. And one of the kids involved is, his name was, I can't remember his name offhand. I promise I will find this information out for you and actually give you the name in a little bit. He killed his girlfriend's parents, and she allowed it. And then the rest of the group kind of helped him, and then tried to help them hide it. But he literally thought he was a vampire, and he was so convinced that that's basically what he did. He bit in and he tried to drink the blood. Man, I don't know how this affected him physiologically or psychologically, for that matter, because I remember this case when I was that age, because I was playing vampire then, and it was on all the talk shows. But I was at a time in my life where I wasn't wandering around watching talk shows or caring a lot about what was going on, except for everybody was talking about how vampire is bad, just like they talked about how D&D was bad when I was really little, before I started playing it. So it was this weird thing. And then I remember that later in life, because I'd met someone that swore they were a vampire. And I mean, this person did turn out they actually legitimately had an allergy to the sun. That was interesting, which they actually had the disease vampirism, which is it's a very, very interesting disease. Good.
Rod Farrell is the 16-year-old who believed he was a 500-year-old vampire, and when in 1996 he killed Richard Wendorf and Naoma Ruth Queen, parents of clan member Heather Wendorf, who was 15 at the time.
Nice.
So that's interesting because I never heard that before, and I've never actually been around a lot of people that play Vampire the Masquerade, although I've been aware of it for a long time. Even when I went to grad school at University of South Florida, they had an active Vampire the Masquerade campaign down there as well. So I see the people out on the quad all the time, dressed in their vampire outfits and running their campaign. But they get creative in their campaign, so it doesn't just take place. They're not just sitting around rolling dice and all of that stuff. Your campaign can actually take place all across the city. They'll have specific landmarks for the campaign to tasks that they actually have to do in order to progress in the game. So
if you're interested in the game and you're familiar with it, every city also had its own book. Like there was actually a Dayton by Night book, and you'll find my name in the credits of that one because I contributed to one of the offshoot plans.
Living in Lincoln, and it was for sanctioned gaming. We were screwed because Omaha and Lincoln were at odds with each other. Yep. So we couldn't go in to play with our friends from Omaha because they couldn't sanction having people from Lincoln in their group.
So they've long since now fixed all of that. And there's one actual organization that people pay dues to and everything to belong to. All the characters are kept tracked up on databases. So you can take your character, you can go to other countries and just let the DM know, just email them ahead of time, and you can walk into another country and play their game.
That's how big Vampire the Masquerade has become? That it's worldwide now?
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah, it's been like this for a while, but believe it or not, there is still such a following. Like there is like elected offices in each region, like real offices, for money being involved and passing hands. Like it is still every bit enormous as it always was. If anything, in a lot of ways, it has overshadowed a lot of D&D as far as LARPing goes. There's still plenty of D&D LARPing, ton of it, but as far as the organization of it, it's way surpassed any other form of LARP.
Well, that sounds like it's getting into SCA type territory there. I would imagine
it's long crossover. It's long been in that territory. We're talking for over a decade. It's been in that territory and still going very strong. They have their own conventions specifically just for the game. There is a lot of stuff involved with it, and it's a really cool culture to get into. But I've not met a single person playing the game that thinks they're a vampire in real life. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever met a person that thinks they're a vampire. I've met a lot of people that want to be vampires, but I've never met anybody that says that they actually are a vampire.
That leads me to this person I used to know. I'm not going to use their name because there's someone I still know, and I don't think they would be super comfortable with me using their name, so I just won't. If you know me personally and live near me, there's a good chance you know the person. So this person has clinically, the disease is not called vampirism. It's more of a technical term. It is actually a combination of two diseases. One is porphyria. Yeah, porphyria. It's a blood condition that basically sparked a lot of key characteristics of the vampire legends and lore. There's a lot of things involved with it, including an allergy to the sun, which you can just have an allergy to sunlight. It's a real allergy and not have porphyria. There's a lot of things going on and being iron deficient. There's a lot of things that are involved with this disease. But one of the big side effects of this disease is mental illness. And the main mental illness that you can get with porphyria is actually legitimately called Renfield syndrome. It's characterized by a patient's compulsion to consume blood, their own or another's. So when you actually have porphyria and you have, legit Renfield syndrome, it then becomes a technical term, which is not the official term, which is vampirism. And this person I met had that, and she used to live in Louisiana. She fell in love with someone from Ohio who also had it. He's who I met, and I knew him before he knew her. So they actually got married in Louisiana, and she ran a vampire cult in Louisiana for a time. But for some reason, instead of him moving there, she moved here. And the entire, a good portion of their vampire cult actually moved to Ohio. So there was a period of a couple, like I'd say almost 3 full years we're actually spending a lot of time hanging out with these people, like, at random, just coming over, hanging out, talking, chilling out. But these people legitimately believed, because they were all like-minded. They all had porphyria. It was this weird collection of people she just met or did message boards with, and they all moved to be together to form this little weird community. And but everybody in it was super nice. Like, no one ever like tried to suck my blood or anything like that. But they had people that would willingly donate it to them, who would come over and like literally bloodlet for them. There was also cow's blood from the local butchers. Like, there was all kinds of stuff they did to supplement their need for iron in the weirdest way possible. Again, I'm not passing judgment. They're very polite, kind people. Only came out at night.
No, I mean, if they're doing it in sanitary ways, and everybody's making sure that they're not going to pick up any kind of strange diseases by it. People will do what they think they need to do in order to survive, and
it was a very interesting subculture to like just experience, like not be a part of. Like, I wasn't a member of their cult. Obviously, I'm not a vampire. I don't have vampirism, but I was just one of the people they accepted that knew that I was safe. Like, I wasn't judging them. I wasn't an asshole. I was just a cool person to talk to. Like, we played D&D and shit sometimes. And we probably played Vampire the Masquerade at some point, because some of them were gamers. It was just, they were cool people. We smoked weed. We drank. We talked about stuff. But it was just a really interesting thing to experience. And then you can get into Anne Rice. There's a lot of lore behind Anne Rice. And one of my favorite pieces of lore is all her vampire books were real, and she spun them as fiction. That's like one of the biggest pieces of lore about her, as an author, which I find it's really cool to think about. Unlikely, but it's really cool to think about. But she was involved in the vampire balls and a lot of the vampire subculture there, and some of the vampire cults. There's documentaries. There's all sorts of things, and interviews even with her talking about this before she found God and and then converted to Catholicism. I think is what she converted to.
If you haven't seen it before, a very strange movie that isn't exactly like this. This is taken to the extreme of that. Trouble Every Day with Vincent Gallo
That's a good one.
Is an amazing movie about two people with a very similar type of thing. They believe they need to have blood and human flesh and such to survive. And one of them is married to a neuroscientist who's trying to help her, and the other one has just gotten married, and they fly to France, where this other woman is, because he doesn't want to eat his wife, basically. But he can't. But erotically, also, he can't conjure that ability without having blood involved, and he doesn't want to do this to it. Vincent Gallo is the king of uncomfortableness. Like, every movie you watch him in, you're just like cringing a little bit, and he brings that uncomfortableness into this, like constantly denying his wife without telling her why, and then like he's getting turned on and he has to run out and get some blood or something. It's a crazy movie, and it's like a French absurdism type of film, but it's also horror. So yeah, if you watch it, it's just kind of like, wow, ooh, they did that. Okay.
I thought that one was pretty good. I like that movie.
It's a great movie, but it's very much like not your normal movie. It's got a bunch of really unexpected, weird ass shit going on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, if you want weird vampire movies, I've mentioned this one before, but one of my favorites, Rockula, which is where my tagline "He's a DJ on the Vampire" comes from.
Rockula is awesome.
And I still think that is one that we need to do on Tomb of the Terrible.
It's tomb worthy. It's 1,000,000% tomb worthy. We need to get that on the list.
It's
a fun one.
Kind of wags its finger at pretty much everything that's known vampire lore. It basically goes with, this is vampire and this is what we're doing with it, and if you don't like it, then go watch something else.
Pretty much. Oh yeah.
But it's such an off the wall, just complete farce of a movie.
Oh yeah.
It's great. And the soundtrack is really good too.
I just want to say something related to the part one video where we were talking about who our favorite vampires. I mentioned Spike. When I was at the con, they were doing this whole thing with people from Buffy and Charmed, and some from Angel. Mostly Buffy and Charmed, but a little Angel. And I happened to, without realizing it, be standing about 3 feet away from James Marsters. And I was just standing there talking, like handing something to like, a handler at a booth, like for his printing business. And I turned to look over, and he had left his booth and walked out a little bit and was bending down and picking something off the ground. And he stood up, just was like, dude, I was just talking about James Marsters, like literally on my show the other day. And I turned around, didn't realize he was there. I turned around, he looked at me and was just like, and I was like, he just looked at me and I was like, where the fuck did James Marsters come from? Like, he's here, but like, why was he just...
Was his hair dyed blonde like Spike?
No, it's usually not.
All right.
He's typically a brunette.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, do we mention like, what kind of a hottie David Boreanaz is?
I love me some David Boreanaz. He did a lot of really cool indie movies too. Angel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Bones.
And then he went on to do Bones with
But
Agent
then
Booth.
he had a lot of very public things happen. He was kind of out of favor with everyone there for a bit after Bones until he's doing more stuff like I think the last like 4 or 5 years he's been back and doing a lot more stuff again. But like he had a very public some issues and got in some trouble, which we don't need to go into. But I did love him quite a bit. I still do. I still watch Angel and Buffy. I mean, I still watch Bones sometimes. Like I was definitely a big fan of his.
Yeah, I like Bones. I've seen quite a few of the episodes of Bones.
Big fan.
More Bones than Angel, actually. I did watch Angel a little bit, but I've actually seen more Bones than Angel. So
I've seen every episode. Nice. I've seen every episode of all these shows probably 50 million thousand times.
That's because you don't leave your basement.
I don't
leave your house. You're like a vampire yourself. You're encased in your own little tomb.
I'm a techno vampire. I feed off the energy of my computer.
Exactly.
Did anybody see his Crow movie?
We don't talk about that.
Okay.
Because Edward Furlong was the motherfucking Crow, and his addictions were so bad by then. A friend of mine, Shane, was on set with him during that, and literally had like the worst experience ever because of him.
What, David Boreanaz did a Crow movie?
Yeah. It was the last one that was made in the official franchise before the franchise died. Where he was an evil character in it, and not vampire. He was an evil character, and Edward Furlong was the Crow.
I might have seen this, but it's not ringing a bell.
I'm going to say it was Crow 4. It should have been Crow 4, the last one they made.
Okay. It really doesn't ring a bell. I was thinking of the Stairway to Heaven series that Mark Dacascos played the Crow.
I love that, actually. It was Crow Wicked Prayer, made back in 2005.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Tara Reid was in it. Dennis Hopper was in it. Danny Trejo. Like, it had an amazing cast for the most part, minus Edward Furlong. But his performance was terrible. He caused a lot of problems on set and backstage and stuff. And the movie just kind of fell apart. It just kind of fell apart, and you can tell the people doing it, they were great, but they just weren't into it, and the movie really suffered as a result.
Yeah, it wasn't like the potential was there, but you could tell that just his presence fucked a whole bunch of stuff up.
And I think they had like how the Star Trek series, like every other movie is great, and the in between movies are terrible. The same with The Crow, in my opinion. 1, obviously amazing.
Yeah.
2 was kind of a superfluous piece of shit, in my opinion. Very artsy. I didn't care about it. 3 was real. That dude had no martial arts training. Fucking died in an electric chair and went fucking nuts and just started getting actual vengeance and murdering people. And the way they did that story, and that was the first of the direct to video Crows they did, the first of them, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. And then Wicked Prayer came out and killed the franchise. It was weird. And now we get a new Crow finally after X amount of years after. The supposed Trent Reznor Shades of Insanity Crow they were supposed to do back in the day and never did. There was the Rob Zombie Crow at one point in time, again, decades ago, that he was attached to. There was more recently the Jason Momoa Crow that was going to happen that ended up getting canceled. And then all of a sudden they were talking about a Bill Skarsgård Crow years ago that completely vanished and no one ever spoke again until we all found out like a week or two ago that it's actually being made now. And it's actually coming out this year because they finished it without telling anybody.
Yeah.
And people are being douchebags about this. I'm not gonna lie.
Like it's been less than 2 weeks, and the amount of memes that are coming out that are just poking fun at it, and as somebody who was here when the first one was made, and you more than anybody else know why I'm kind of really partial to that.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was something phenomenal. Like nobody was expecting it.
Right down to the soundtrack. It's still the most listened to soundtrack probably of all time. That and Mortal Kombat and Spawn, I think, are the top 3 soundtracks.
Yeah. And let's be really honest. Nobody, because of what happened, because of what made that movie noted, nobody is going to be Brandon Lee. Nobody is going to bring that back.
It's not possible.
It's not.
Let's also consider that is very true, Mike. Very, very, very true. But let's consider also how heavily the Brandon Lee Crow strayed from a lot of the source material.
Yes. So in that aspect, why a lot of people did the same thing when he took on Pennywise. Stop trying to judge somebody stepping into a role by who has done it before. And the biggest lesson that you can give anybody is to watch it and see what they do with it before you make the judgment. Don't do it just based on appearance.
And
they did the same thing with Robert Pattinson when he took over Batman.
Yeah.
They made all the memes and everything, ridiculing, saying it's a bad idea and all of that, and then
I'll
it
be
turned out
damned
to
if
be
he
a
wasn't an
pretty
amazing
kick-ass
Batman.
movie.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
He did.
Oh,
a good
dude,
job.
watch it immediately. It's gorgeous. But getting back to the whole Pennywise thing, everybody gave Bill Skarsgård shit. You can't be Tim Curry. He wasn't Tim Curry. He was his own version, and it was brilliant in its own right.
He
so
kicked
here's
ass,
my thing.
Pennywise, man.
He
did.
has done nothing but take projects up against insurmountable odds, and every show, every movie, every appearance this man has ever done has blown us all away. He's won awards for some of his for some of these performances and been nominated for probably dozens more. But we're gonna pretend that he's not good enough to hold his own for The Crow. I'm sorry, give the man the respect he's earned. Watch it.
Pretty much.
If you don't like it on its own merits. Don't worry about what he looks like. What the fuck does Post Malone look like? And again, Post Malone's a cool guy. Not saying anything bad about Post Malone, but that's where what stars and musicians and things look like more often now.
Yeah.
That is the look our society has for musicians. So if you keep that in mind, why would his makeup and look not? Why would it not make sense to be that way?
All right, here's the way I look at it. All right, I'm a haunted house actor.
No.
I have certain characters that I play. All right, a couple of my main stable characters like Buford, Nursinia, and my clown character. But I don't want to just settle for those because I constantly want to be stretching my acting ability so that I can get better and be able to play anything that I'm called upon to play if the need arises. If you're an actor in Hollywood, does it not behoove you to have a massive range of stuff that you can do because it opens you up to more roles?
Yeah.
If you typecast yourself as one specific type of actor, like Bruce Willis did, and after he did Die Hard and started doing the tough guy roles, his acting was kind of very stoic at that point, and it didn't really change much after that point. But he still got movies, but they were all basically the same type of character. But then you find people, you find your Robert Pattinsons that, do Cedric Diggory and that do Edward Cullen, and then they do Batman, and they're equally as good at each one of those roles. Then does it not behoove you to want to stretch your acting ability so that if something does come along that you really are passionate about and you want to do, and they say, no, you're not right for this role because you don't do this type, and then you're like, well, what the hell, man? But if you put yourself out there as playing different types of roles, then somebody can say, okay, yeah, I can see you doing that. Yeah. Well, let's see how you do with Pennywise.
I'm about to say something nuts. When I was growing up, 2 actors I was always toted by my parents, peers, everybody as being the greatest character actors they'd ever seen or heard of. One, oh my God, my brain just died in mid-conversation. Michael Keaton was one that when I was growing up, everybody said, dude, he's been Batman, he's been Beetlejuice, he's been so many different characters, he's been drama, comedy, Pacific Heights, he was a bad guy, he played a villain role, like he could play any character.
And I remember him in Mr. Mom.
Yes, multiplicity. But then step higher. Who was getting popular right on his coattails, and after that, Johnny Depp.
Yeah, 21 Jump Street.
But one of the greatest character actors ever. I'm going to say now that in this time, Bill Skarsgård is the greatest character actor that we have. There's a lot of great ones out there, but currently alive, takes on the strangest roles and some of the most difficult and kills it. I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say Skarsgård is that guy.
I have not seen a movie of his that I have hated.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's kind of the same way, with all the what was the one he did, Mortimer or
what was it about? I'll tell you. I've seen every one of his movies except for one, and the recent one he just put in.
He did one recently where he was a professor that was diagnosed with cancer and was kind of a dick until he found out about it and changed. I can't remember the name of that one either. But yeah, I mean Johnny Depp has played a lot of
that was called The Professor, by the way.
Yeah, The Professor. Okay.
2018, yeah.
I kept wanting to say Moriarty, but then that's like Sherlock Holmes based, and it's not Moriarty. No. So I want to say Mortimer.
Mordecai.
Yeah, there we go.
Mordecai. Yeah. So, Johnny Depp's played a lot of different characters
fucking
too.
Crybaby, man.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Come on, like Crybaby, Benny and June, Nightmare on Elm Street when he was in 21
Oh
Jump.
my God,
all just when he was getting
Gilbert Grape was really good.
That's the one movie I haven't seen. Fuck you.
Yeah, well,
the reasons.
I
know what it's about, but
I know you haven't seen it. But I mean, for those who have watched it, Gilbert Grape was really kind of the first look behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Now that said, character actor wise, it's really hard for me to jump on the Bill Skarsgård as the greatest right now because there are still so many.
There's some great ones. There's great ones. That's the thing.
Yeah,
and I agree that there's a lot of great ones, but
like right now, okay, and I'm just throwing this one out there because technically he's still acting, but he's got to be like, you have to consider him one of the GOATs. Anthony Hopkins.
Well, okay, yes, definitely. But we're talking about of this modern generation, though, not of past generations, because he's fucking fantastic. But he's of an older generation. Like,
yeah,
he would have been. I would have put him in there even starting before Keaton. Honestly,
yeah.
Like if we had gone back farther, he would have been.
Anthony Hopkins, Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, they would have been on that list too if we had gone back farther, for damn sure.
But
I'm talking modern now, like that's younger, that's of these generations.
I will tell you, there is one person, character actor wise, that is in that age group that is really close to doing exactly what he's doing. If you've watched everything that person has done, and it's his own damn brother.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah.
So as amazing his brother is, and also their fucking father.
Yeah.
He would have also been in that list generations prior.
Well, Stellan, you're saying modern generation, and I'm sitting here going, well, that puts Stellan back.
Yeah, but
so Stellan's,
but Bill's younger.
Bill is younger,
and he's been in more.
And his brother Alexander, if you count TV shows and
yes, we're counting TV shows
and big box releases. Yeah. Alexander has done just as much. He has turned roles on their heads. And I'm sorry, like, again, I think the best example of the diversity he's capable of is he did
look at Eric Northman just straight up has to be on this list we're discussing right now.
Yeah, he did Eric in True Blood. He turned around. He did Tarzan.
Yep.
Then he turned around and he did. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's where the husband and wife separate, and
it's like 50,000 movies.
They fight over their daughter, in court, and it's just like it is a really serious turn.
You too. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for stopping in.
What Maisie Knew, I believe, is what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
2012.
he did that, but then he turns around and he tackled a role that I really want to point out has been done in several miniseries and movies.
True.
It was done by Matthew McConaughey in The Dark Tower. It was done by Jamie Sheridan in the initial release of The Stand.
Yep. His role as the Walking Dude honestly was fantastic, but
yes,
there was a lot of things in Walking Dude that I saw Eric Northman in, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way at all. In a really good way.
But my point is he reinvented Randall Flagg, and for those of us that actually read the book, his interpretation was far closer.
So let's just say that the Skarsgård family is where it's at right now, because I'll agree.
Yeah.
He's still got one on his brother for Stephen King properties, though. Bill's still done two now, and he's only done one. But they both do some weird shit. But I do think
let's be really fair.
Bill does the weirder shit.
Let's be really fair. They both have the same amount of time in the Stephen King universe. If you boil it down, no,
not true.
Because
not true.
The It movies are going to end up being what, 7.5 hours?
For starters, yes.
Okay, The Stand is 9.5 hours long.
Yes, but you're also forgetting that he was in Castle Rock.
Shit,
all of season 1, and he had the season 2.
Damn it, I did forget that. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
And there's rumors still. The jury's out because Welcome to Derry is coming out. If not this year, then maybe early next year, and that's the prequel series to It. Some people say that he's still playing, Pennywise / Bob Gray, that he's going to take more of the Bob Gray role. There's some rumors saying that he's no longer involved with the production. So we don't yet know how that's going to go. But then they're doing another Stephen King TV show based on The Overlook, which is like Shining and a couple other things thrown in, kind of like how they did Castle Rock, but like a different kind of setup. And there's rumors that he may have some cameos in that, but there's nothing, just rumors.
Well, okay, so after Castle Rock went really good, and I'm
mad that they canceled that. Fuck them, man.
Yes,
I love
but
that.
here's the thing, and I can't remember where I saw it, but there is talk that there's going to be a series called The Bay.
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah,
and it's supposed to set up all the things like Dolores Claiborne, Needful Things, Misery. It's supposed to set everything that happens in that Chesapeake Bay area.
Which is tough though, because Castle Rock touched on some of that as well, because season 2 was literally all about Annie Wilkes.
Yeah.
It was leading into Salem's Lot, but now we know we're also getting a Salem's Lot TV show, by the way.
Yeah. But
and that brings us back around to
vampires. Yes.
Vampires, yeah, we're coming right back to it. So I mean, I think it's interesting that now we're getting a whole lot more out of the Stephen King universe. But as much as I would love to see all these things, what I really want is for them to fix the fucking Dark Tower.
Oh, they are. Flanagan, Mike Flanagan is doing the new Dark Tower series. It's already done. It's happening.
Okay, so are we ditching McConaughey because that just?
Oh yeah, no, it's an all new thing. It's an all new, another trip to the tower scenario.
Was it Johnny Depp that played Barnabas Collins in the movie for What We Do in the Shadows?
Dark Shadows for Dark Shadows. Yeah, that's why I said. That's why I said Johnny Depp, Dark Shadows.
But I've loved all three Barnabas Collins.
Yes, same actually. Both the original, the reimagining they did in the 90s, and then the movie with Johnny Depp.
I thought it was
and the spin-off Crimson Shadows. Let's not forget that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I can't even remember the guy's name. The one from the TV series on FX, the English guy. I could not get past seeing him, and all I saw was where he was the boss on the IT crowd.
Oh my god, I love him as an actor so fucking much.
Like, every time he spoke, I was
Matt
like,
Berry.
Wow, yeah. Like, I could not. It just, we're there.
That's not even all I'm looking for the name of this other show he did that will blow that one fucking away.
Wait, wasn't it Rowan Atkinson that originally played Barnabas Collins?
No.
No.
I don't think so. No, it definitely wasn't.
No.
It definitely wasn't.
What am I thinking of?
I have no idea.
What was the original TV series?
Rowan Atkinson was Mr. Bean.
Yeah, I know, but he did other stuff aside from Mr. Bean as well.
I'm
Like
gonna tell
Blackadder.
you.
He was in Blackadder.
He was in Blackadder, but I'm gonna tell you my favorite thing to see him in after some of his English stuff was fucking Rat Race. If you've never watched that movie,
let's also.
I like his Johnny English movies.
When we also talk about Matt Berry, though, you got to talk about a lot of other shit, like The Mighty Boosh.
yeah.
He's from that, but the greatest thing he ever did, the weirdest thing, was called Dark Place. Basically, it was like a Goosebumps setup, but for adults. And also, Richard Ayoade was also in Dark Place with Matt Berry, and this was well before IT Crowd.
I love Ayoade though.
Yeah, so the whole premise was there was this crazy writer who was like the new Stephen King, basically, and he wanted to invite you to his world from all the writing and the things that he does, and it's all centered around this hospital where all these horrific things happen, and like Matt Berry was like the head doctor of the hospital. It was one of the weirdest shows ever fucking made. It was a comedy. It was supposed to be hilarious, but yeah, Dark Place. You gotta check out. It's a Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Jonathan Frid was the original Barnabas Collins.
Yes.
I don't know what I was thinking.
I have no.
I think about random shit all the time like that. And I find out I'm wrong. Because our brains, man, like we watch so much content that like we'll actually envision someone in that role and swear it's that person because we can completely visualize what they would look like in that role.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people don't even know that Dark Shadows even existed before Johnny Depp brought it to the big screen.
Yeah, and it's the same for What We Do in Shadows, actually, because that was actually a New Zealand comedy horror mockumentary that got really bad or got huge, so huge that it got Americanized, and the creators brought it to America onto FX and made it into a TV show. And yeah, and one of the creators is actually far more is Marvel famous.
Ooh, look, now I have a Dracula cloak on.
If you guys did not know, Taika Waititi, that does a lot of Marvel and a lot of other stuff, also was one of the co-creators and makers of the What We Do in Shadows movie.
Oh, and he did the movie with Freeman or what was it with about the character in the video game that Ryan Reynolds played.
It was Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement that did the movie.
Which one?
The What We Do in Shadows movie.
Oh no, that's I was thinking of Freeman, I think, with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, the movie Freeman. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie too.
It was fun getting a sequel for that matter. But we're talking too much about movies that aren't vampire movies.
We need to get back to vampires and look at my vampire cloak right here.
If you guys didn't know this whole show was going to scroll from the whole like first 40 minutes, then shame on you.
Yeah,
like you're the problem. Not
we're doing a padded cell. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
a vampire accented padded cell.
Well, the thing was we had more content about vampires, but not quite enough to fill a whole second show. So we had to scroll out, mix some things in, do some announcements to kind of fill the time so y'all got your time, your time worth.
It works. But we talked about vampires and we covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
And we even got two awesome authors in the chat to join us, Warren G. Larch and Michael Guzman.
Yeah.
So yeah,
love you guys.
Go check them out.
Yes.
I mean, we dug into some ground. We unburied some things, and
Warren G. Larch
we
does
talked
have
a lot
a
about vampire lore, but I wouldn't stake my life on it.
What were you saying, Jenny?
And Warren G. Larch does have a vampire, a book with vampires in it, I should say. Hold on a second. 2 seconds.
And I do love your dad joke.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
I love your dad joke, Ron. Put a steak in it. That was nice.
Upon Silver Fangs.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh, nice.
Go find Upon Silver Fangs by Warren G. Larch. And what was it? I know it was one of the anthologies you're in. You're in 2 of them of the 3.
The recent one. Yeah. I can say in just a second. I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up right now. But I should know this. You would think I would just No, that's
Michael Guzman has a vampire story in that one.
yeah. We both. Oh yeah. That was a different one. Are you talking about
Nightmare Whispers.
Yeah, I was going to say Nightmare Whispers. Yeah. And then of course in the more recent one, I have a vampire story.
Yes, Dark Dreams.
Yes,
I guess I need to write a vampire story now.
I'm not gonna lie, vampire stories are tough to write because so much of it has already been done. Like what angle you go with, like you feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. So I've always said that I will never write a vampire story, and I accidentally wrote one because I thought it was a story about a serial killer. Then the guy that I thought was a serial killer turned out not to be a bad guy, and then a lot of things changed during the course of writing and talking to Jenny and Matt and Dell that made me realize, holy fuck, I just actually wrote a really, not just a vampire story, but I still think it's one of the best things I've ever written, which is weird because, I don't think I'm that great a writer to begin with, but that story got you where I want you.
It's one of the best things I've ever written, which is really weird because I freaking hate everything that I write.
yeah, pretty much. But it was fun. A lot of 90s nostalgia in that one.
The Lottery by Mike Guzman. It takes a well-known story that I read in school, and then he's like, okay, how about we take this but add vampires?
What is it? The Shirley something, The Lottery.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can't think of her last
Shirley
name
Jackson.
now. Shirley Jackson. All right.
It's called Rosa is the name of his story.
Okay.
It's so weird. The Lottery by Shirley Jackson is actually one of my favorite stories of fucking all time. But yeah, but there've been some vampires that were questionable in our history. As much as I love Paul Rubin, his vampire in Buffy, and the 10-minute death scene is still just
It's still one of the best gags in cinema.
It is. When you think vampires, you cannot help but think of Paul Rubens and Buffy, like the movie, like it. And with Dolph fucking Lundgren was the questionable choice actually in that movie. Is the master vampire.
We can do anything.
Not Dolph Lundgren. Oh shit, it wasn't Dolph Lundgren. Oh my god.
Rutger Hauer.
Thank you, Rutger Hauer. Thank you. I cannot believe I fucked that up. I know the difference. I promise you. But that was actually way weirder than Paul Rubens.
Yeah, that was.
No, I think Dolph Lundgren would have been the much weirder choice than Rutger Hauer because at least Rutger Hauer pulled it off.
No, I would believe Dolph Lundgren can be a vampire. Honestly, I believe it. If he did a vampire movie like in modern time, I believe like yeah, he's a fucking vampire.
Well, if he lost a bunch of weight like he did for the Punisher.
Oh yeah.
Back in the early.
I don't know.
80s.
He lost considerable weight and got in shape for the Expendables movies. Like
he did. He buffed up again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I wanted to see him come back as He-Man. I need another live action terrible He-Man movie because I still watch that movie at least once or twice a year.
I think he would actually make a better He-Man now. I think
Yeah.
if they were to remake that movie or do another one, it would be much better than the original was.
But would we get the original Skeletor back?
I don't know. But that was some cool graphics on Skeletor though. His mask and everything.
I mean, it was Franklin Jello that played him. And I'd love to see him come back. But yeah, I mean, we've also had, Jim Carrey was almost a vampire.
Yeah.
That was actually a really fun comedy vampire movie. I'm trying to remember, was it Twice Bitten?
Once Bitten, Twice Shy?
Once Bitten?
No.
Well, there was a movie called Once Bitten back in the 80s.
That I think it's Once Bitten. I'm checking it out. Yeah, yep, Once Bitten. That's the Jim Carrey vampire movie where he almost became a vampire. Eddie Murphy was a vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie. That one I watched a
Fun
whole
movie.
lot.
An interesting vampire movie, but it's fun. Definitely
that
hilarious.
one was my favorite at one point.
Nicolas Cage finally got to be Dracula recently in Renfield, which was actually a brilliant fucking movie. And his role,
he did a good job with it.
Say what you want about Nick Cage, man, but he's another.
He already
person
looks like a vampire, so might as well.
He's one of those people that either plays Nick Cage or he plays the character so thoroughly you can almost forget he's Nick Cage. There's an odd line, like he goes back and forth from like a Johnny Depp character actor to a Christopher Walken. I'm playing Christopher Walken in everything I do kind of situation. Like he writes that line and like goes back and forth, and it's interesting. David Bowie was a vampire. You guys not remember when David Bowie was a vampire?
Have a picture in my mind. No. Can I tell you the name of the movie? No. Can I
David
picture it in
Bowie
my
was
head?
Goblin King and Labyrinth.
No, The Hunger in 1983, man. It's actually a really good vampire movie.
Oh.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, yeah, we've had fucking Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas. We've had some interesting ones. And there was even a time where Bill Paxton was wrapped up in vampirism. And the Western horror 1987 movie, Near Dark, which I still go on record as being one of the greatest vampire films ever made.
Another one I probably watched way too many times when I was younger.
And of course, Lost Boys, because it's fucking Lost Boys.
Right.
And so much has come out of Lost Boys. Like so much pop culture has come. Death by Stereo, for example. Come on.
And now the song is stuck in my head again.
Cry, little sister.
Manson's version of that was very fucking impressive and gorgeous. Like, I don't know why, but that man, say what you want about that man, but no one covers songs like he does. Period.
Speaking of soundtracks, Vampire Lestat had one of the best soundtracks for a vampire movie ever, because
Queen of the Damn soundtrack.
At the
Okay,
head
the Queen of the Damn
forgot
soundtrack
that.
was sung by the lead singer of Korn.
It wasn't just the lead singer of Korn. It was Chester Bennington,
Wayne
Jonathan
Static.
Davies, David Germain. I'm sorry, this is my
So,
rant.
Yeah, Queen of the Damned.
Okay,
here's what they did.
continue
So
rant.
the same exact setup and way they did the Spawn soundtrack, where they mixed a lot of different artists up and put them doing songs together, is very similar to how they did the Queen of the Damned soundtrack, which is why that setup is fucking brilliant. And I didn't even think about that. Yeah, but if I'm talking all time soundtrack, I mentioned 3 earlier. I got to add that one in. You guys are totally fucking right about that.
Yeah, and it's funny because all of the songs on the Queen of the Damned soundtrack, they flow so well into each other until you get to the one Papa Roach song, which just, I like Papa Roach and I think it's a great
the
song.
song's not bad. Yeah,
but it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the soundtrack. When you see it in the context of the movie, because they're playing it in a car and then they step out of the car and you can kind of hear it playing in the background, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you listen to it on the soundtrack, it doesn't flow with the rest of the vibe of the soundtrack.
But the interesting thing about it is it's easy to believe that one person did all the music. It really is, because of how well it flows and the voices and just what they did. It really is easy to believe it was just one person. I think that's the most beautifully blended soundtrack of all the popular soundtracks. Just the story the whole soundtrack tells from beginning to end. It's probably the smoothest flowing, other than that one little hiccup.
Yeah,
but guys,
just put that one on repeat and take out the Papa Roach song, and it would be the perfect soundtrack.
So we brought you the Frogman Festival and the Pyle and Raz Adventures, a new show, Chainer's Haunted Secrets. We're doing a giveaway for it on Friday. We discussed the Bewildered Beast movie we're going to be doing. We talked a little bit about our world record breaking box fort we're going to be doing at some point this year. And we've discussed the rest of our vampire content. We've squirreled out. We finished up some vampire talk. We've had a great time. So you know what it's time for now?
Now it's time to say goodbye.
Well, not quite.
To all our company.
Now it's time for the wheel.
Oh.
Wheel of Morality.
Here's the problem.
Oh, take all the time you need. We're not in a hurry here. I can talk about anything you want me. I can do my infomercial from. No, I shouldn't do that. I'll get us banned.
I did not know it. I tried to bring it up, and the problem with the wheel.
These wheels, man, have a mind of their own. It's not like the Price is Right wheel at all. That wheel.
It's not like you're reinventing the wheel or anything.
Yeah.
Come on. It's
Okay.
You're supposed to, push it so that it turns, not so that it flops.
Push it real good. All I can think about is the movie Stay Tuned with John Ritter showing up and a music video that had the Prince and Salt and Pepper in it.
It completely signed me out of Dell. I don't have the ability to sign back in. And all I have left is the wheel with the the horror movie characters.
Oh, weird idea.
I did not know that would be a problem until now.
No, spin it, and we will come up with a topic close to whoever you land on for this one, because that just seems like a fun challenge. So just spin that wheel and let's see what happens.
A lot of those horror movie characters are considered cryptids themselves, aren't
Cryptids, serial killers, haunting. Like, there's a lot of options here. Like, I think we can come up with something based on that wheel for fun until we can get the other wheel going next time. Serial killers.
Leatherface.
Yeah, next week we will be talking about serial killers, and I have a feeling that one's going to end up being a
serial killers or cannibalistic families.
Honestly, serial killers. It's easier. It's
right.
going to be a broader topic, I think.
There we go.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about here's the thing. Everyone that's going to be on the show has got to do some homework and pick one serial killer in particular they really want to talk about. So we're going to do some homework.
Son of Sam.
Do what?
Toucan Son of Sam.
Okay, thank you, serial killers.
Yeah.
Toucan Son of Sam.
Toucan
Son of Sam. Toucan.
I love green jelly, man. Green jelly is.
Well, let's get Bill Manspeak around here. You can talk about.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna do serial killers next time, guys. Surprise! Thank you, Leatherface. But yeah, otherwise, thank you guys for joining us on our magical adventure and journey for this evening. And remember, tomorrow 8 p.m. they're doing the Elmer Fudd Batman comic reading over on Splash Pages that we're excited about. Wednesday, Jenny.
Wednesday, we are having the Patricia Harris Happy Birthday Special, where we talk about all her wonderful poetry, all her wonderful stories, and just basically tell her we appreciate her.
And that's Unprinted Pages on its new weekday spot. So we're excited about that. Thursday, we got you coming back for Allied Adventures. Friday, Chainer's Haunted Secrets. Guys, we're officially to this point now where you got to put up with us 5 days a week. Now, the Friday show, we've only got one every other week. So you'll have an off week where it's only 4 times you got to put up with our shit. But I'm sure before long, we'll fill that spot too. So thank you for joining us. Thank you all for hanging out. Ron, where can they find you?
I really want to steal your line and say at your mom's house, but I'm not going to do that.
I mean,
hey, look,
I'll donate it to you.
My command hook is really happy to see you.
Nice.
Where can they find me?
Wing.
you can find me in various places across the interwebs. I have an author page on Facebook now, Ronald W Gillespie Jr. -author for my new book that is finally out, called Inside My Nightmares. You can pick it up on Amazon. It's an ebook on Kindle. You can get hardback, you can get paperback, or you can just message Jenny and she'll just send you one off of her shelf or something like that. Because I know she's stockpiling them over there.
Her bag of holding.
Yeah. One of my friends from college, my friend Brock, he says, autograph a copy and send it to us because we plan on retiring once we sell it. Yeah, if you can retire in $25, sure, why not?
Nice.
So, you can find me here on YouTube under Wolf Dojo or Wolf Sensei. I do martial arts related content, and also on TikTok, same thing. Wolf Sensei, Wolf Dojo. I'm more prolific on TikTok than I am on YouTube. So if you're into the nerdy, geeky martial arts type stuff, then yeah, you can find me in one of those places. Otherwise, I'll be lurking around Owlite and making a general nuisance of myself.
And you'll even get to learn new stuff on his channel, so it's worth checking out.
Definitely. So where can we find you, Amina?
I am currently only on the Facebook. I don't really have anything up.
That's a lie because you're here. You're with us randomly. A lot recently, actually. Your schedule's been a little cleared up, so we've had the pleasure of having you quite a bit. And you have a story with all of us coming up in the Allied Anthology we forgot to mention.
That's true. That's true. I do have a story coming out. So I have that. But
it's
right
a charity-based anthology, people. So we'll put some links up. You got to pre-order.
Yeah. But I'm on Facebook, so you can see me at Amina Raziel author page. I also have the Amina Raziel account on Facebook. So if you want to get up with me, you can just message me there.
And you can also message her under the same name at AOL.
Oh yeah. That is. I forgot about that.
I have AOL account.
Is that still around?
Yeah.
Wow.
As the old damned at AOL.com is where you can find me on AOL.
Yeah.
Wow. The good old days.
Man, I miss them.
All right, Dr. Friday, where can we find you?
Oh, me? I'm everywhere. I'm at Facebook.
Everywhere,
I'm
he's everywhere.
on Elliott. Exactly. I can be found at my own stuff at Friday with the Library at the Blue Box. Friday Blues Disorganized Library, my group. My actual author page is in under Jennifer Elliott. And you can randomly find me skulking in book groups and on Twitch watching people play games every so often.
Hell yeah. Also, she's me.
Yes.
Yeah. And by the way, Johnny7, also has been messaging me frequently on TikTok recently, and that's who my replacement was at the Haunt. He's the JB Rotten replacement who now runs the Freak Show, and he's like, "Why aren't you responding to my video?" I'm like, "What? What do you mean? What are you sending me one on?" He's like, "On TikTok." I'm like, "Dude, I don't run my TikTok. That's Jenny." He's like, "Well, now that I know that, tell Jenny to look at my videos and comment to me so I know someone's seeing." I was supposed to pass you that message that John says hello, and he would love to talk about the videos with you.
I will happily talk with him. I was waiting for you to actually tell me what you wanted me to say. Now, with that instance,
Well, now he knows it's you, so he just wants to talk to you. So it's okay.
What's his name on TikTok? I can give him a follow. What's his name?
Johnny7, I think is what he goes. I forget how he spells it right now because I don't look at TikTok.
I'll copy and paste it and send it to you later.
All right,
Yeah,
sounds
awesome.
good.
But yeah, guys, you can find me in many places, including at the later on in this month. You're going to be able to find me at Horror Hound Weekend, March 22nd to 25th. I'm going to be hanging out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, minus that time on Friday night where I leave. And me and Pyle kidnap some lucky winners in a panel van and take them to a haunted attraction in which they will be tormented, tortured, and, I'll tell you some stories or something.
So like McCamey Manor.
But no, like way cooler. Like we're not morons.
More fun than McCamey Manor.
Yeah, we're not morons. We're not going to make you carry dog food around with a blindfold on around our front yard or nothing weird like that. We're the real deal. No, it's not an extreme haunted house. We're just messing with you. But Carnage is an amazing haunt. If you guys haven't been, trust me, you want to win these tickets. I've been there numerous times, and you guys get to actually meet Mia when we do the giveaway for her haunt on Friday. And if just by meeting her, you don't automatically want to come to her haunt. The problem is with you, just straight up. She's absolutely amazing. But until 2 weeks from now, when we return for another for apparently a serial killer episode, at least the part 1 probably. Notice.
Yeah, next Monday is Dead Alive.
Yep, that's a different show. That's
Very interesting movie.
So I want to part by saying, notice the show is ending. The Bewildered Beast has been here.
Dun dun dun.